Thank you. One last concept I'd like to ask about before we hear from you, your questions and your ideas, is this idea of intersectionality that we talk about as a board from time to time. And Steph, I'm wondering if you could start us off on this. First by just making sure we're all on the same page. What do we mean by intersectionality? And then what does it mean for this festival going forward?
So intersectionality to me is making sure that the same compassion that we exhibit for animals we're giving to each other, and recognizing that everybody's coming from a different place. Not everybody starts with the same privileges and the same benefits and the same background and history, and recognizing that in the way that we do our outreach, and making sure that, again, we're going back to being welcoming and accepting rather than heavy-handed in our messaging.
Thank you. Terrific. Peter, do you have anything to add to that? Thank you so much, all four of you, for going through those. We'd love to hear from you, your questions, your ideas. There is a microphone there. We've got about 10 minutes. If there's any questions or thoughts from you, we'd love to hear them.
Hi, so I believe your name is Steph, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I think the point you brought up about intersectionality was kind of interesting, especially since you're vegetarian, not vegan, correct?
I am.
Okay, so if you, like you did just mention that we should treat animals the way we treat each other, so would you rape, murder, and exploit other people? Like the way you support the rape, murder, and exploitation of cows and chickens?
I don't think that's a helpful question.
No, it is. No, it absolutely is. So this is a vegan event, correct?
What we're trying to achieve with this event
what we're trying to achieve with this event is to promote veganism, correct? Not exploitation of animals. So one of your organizers here supports the exploitation of animals, and especially since she believes in intersectionality, I think it's extraordinarily hypocritical for her to claim that, oh, well, it's wrong to, rape, objectify, and all this stuff, but you are in fact supporting rape, exploitation, murder with your food choices.
We've heard your point. We appreciate your point.
Well, no. I'd actually like her to actually respond to the question, because I think I do have a valid point.
Sure. So like I mentioned, the TVA as an organization tries to meet people wherever they are on their journey. So whether
How many years have you been vegetarian?
5.
Okay, so in those 5 years you haven't figured out how to give up milk and eggs.
So we like to meet people wherever they
Okay,
are
so
on their
in those
journey.
5, okay, so in those 5 years, no, in those 5, so in those 5 years you haven't discovered how to not include milk and eggs in your diet. You haven't discovered how to just eat soy milk and not eat eggs and like make tofu scramble instead.
We've heard your point. Thank you for your point. We're asking you to sit down now, please.
Okay, well, she hasn't answered the question. Why do you support the unnecessary...
Responding to your question.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She just said she was at a certain point in her journey. No, she just said she was at a certain point in her journey, and I'm asking her, after 5 years of being vegetarian, why is it that you have not been able to discover how to not unnecessarily harm, exploit, rape, murder cows and chickens?
I appreciate where you are in your journey, and I think everybody's at a different stage in their life. And
You've been vegetarian for 5 years.
Please.
Well, what do you mean? I'm actually trying to understand why you think it is okay to unnecessarily cause the rape, murder, and exploitation of chickens.
I don't know that
and
I'm going to
cows.
be able to give you an answer that you're going to accept, so I think the conversation between us is probably...
Well, what do you mean an answer that I'll accept? Just give me an answer.
We don't answer to you, though. Like, you're not the authority that we have to measure our own progress, our own journey again.
Okay, so do you believe it is morally acceptable
Does
to
anyone
cause
else
the
have a
unnecessary
question
rape?
while we're trying to get...
Do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you have?
Yes,
okay,
a
so
question
do you
over
have?
here.
No, do you have an
Richard,
actual
please yield
excuse?
the mic to
No,
somebody
do you
else.
have a reasonable exploitation for unnecessary? Okay.
I'm sorry, I just don't think that it's going to be very effective here. It's maybe a conversation we can have a conversation.
You're a hypocrite.
afterwards.
You're a hypocrite. You're a moral hypocrite. You have no reason. No, you have no reason. You have no reason to cause the unnecessary suffering, death, exploitation of animals. No, you're pathetic. No, guess what? No, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? The animals that you cause the unnecessary death, suffering, exploitation of, they have no choice. They cannot run away from what you do to them. You are pathetic. You're running away from what I'm asking you. You're running away from the truth. You're trying to you won't even make up an excuse. You're just running away. Okay, then give me a reason for why it's okay to cause the unnecessary suffering, death, and exploitation of cows and chickens. Why is it okay? So you're telling me the way I'm speaking to you is worse than how you treat animals? You're saying rape, murder, and exploitation is better than how I'm treating you?
So can you please
Anyone on the panel
Sorry.
wants to speak to some of the
Right, exactly. So you're a dishonest coward. No, you're a dishonest
Answer
coward and a moral
question.
hypocrite, especially
So I'm
since
gonna
you
have to
talk
ask you
about
to leave the property
intersectionality.
for you to
We have
continue.
Yeah,
actually
especially
shown
since you
Sir.
talk about intersectionality. You're pathetic.
So the question was about documentaries, and
What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how